Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some
So many
Dungeons and
levels.
Dragons.
Yeah.
Yay!
You can cheer So Many Levels now, too, if you want.
So many levels.
Yeah. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Dove Archambault as Kneecap,
Ooh, who will I be?
Nobilis as Cuspid,
Teeth for the tooth god!
Yay!
Liberdette as Malleus,
Boom, baby.
Jason Banks as Radius,
The Deator calls me home. The Collector must rise.
Yes!
Paul Weimer as Tarsus,
Designation Tarsus, the original.
and Millie Cady as Coracoid.
No drums, no animals. This time, just the light of Paler coming to save all your asses.
Nice. So, when last we left our heroes, the skeleton crew had finally made it to the office of Shemeshka the Marauder, owner and proprietress of the Fortune's Wheel Casino, and apparently orchestrator of this whole mess. You fought off her bodyguards, and then once you had done so, she called for a truce. She would tell you everything you needed to know to rescue the Modrons, and in exchange, you would leave and not bother her anymore. And you took that deal, and you discovered why she had held the Modrons prisoner in this place known as the Tyrant's Spiral. She told you that a portal to this place could be found within the headquarters of the Mercy Killers faction here in Sigil, which, now that you have your memories restored, you will all know is the prison. So that'll be fun. And you have also discovered that part of the reason for your glitched nature was because of your original connection to the Modrons being captured in the first place. However, your memory loss was because she had attempted to catch you in a demiplanar prison, storing you inside tiny little gemstones instead of killing you, because every time she killed you, you just came back. But then once you had managed to once she had managed to imprison you in that way, this extraplanar glitch in reality managed to bring back another version of you that was just, different enough that you still qualified for the reality glitch, and therefore now you were immune to death, but without your memories and less powerful than you were. So she has given you now the means to restore your original forms, and I'm just going to go ahead and assume that we've already done that, unless anybody wanted to role play having a discussion about it. But so what I'm going to suggest now is that all of you in your new level 17 forms are much more powerful. You have your memories restored, but you also are now aware that although there is still traces of this reality glitch on you, Shemeshka believes that you are no longer immune to death. If you die this time, you will stay dead. Unless, accepting, of course, all of the normal D&D shenanigans.
Yeah.
You will
Hello,
die normally.
I have all of the anti-death shenanigans available. I just shouldn't be the one dying.
Well, we'll see how that works out for you. So, once she gave you the means to restore yourselves, she bounced and left you to do the job yourself. And you found that she was apparently telling the truth in how to do it, because you have now restored yourselves. And so before we proceed with the story itself, let's have each of you, I was about to say one last time, but we're probably going to have more sessions. I don't think this is the last session. But now, for the first time, describe the real skeleton crew. Describe your current visual descriptions.
Okay. So I going into the nook with the gem in his hand, kneecap in medium armor and helmet, and I occasionally popping out echoes of himself, turns into a unarmored version of himself. I'm gonna say that this the true version doesn't have the age effect from that. So his hair is fully orangish red, a little fuller face, and he steps out and yells, "Tibia!" That is my sister.
Nice.
All right.
Nice intro.
Yes.
You know, you could put some pyro behind that, and it would be dope.
I think we get some immigrant song in behind you there. Dun, 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 dun. Ah. All right. Who's next?
Cuspid emerges pretty much the same as she looked first time around. She's got a little more glitz around her. She's got a couple of magic rings and a billowing cloak on. But the biggest change is her hammer is now carved from a single piece of ivory, and is sparkling with fey magic. And her manic look is returned.
That's exciting.
Let's you back.
Tarsus emerges from the thing. He's no longer the aged version from last time. He looks similar to one of his previous selves with the reddish skin. His eyes are again mismatched, although one eye is red, not orange. Otherwise, he looks pretty much like the Warforged cleric from several iterations back, carrying a mace and a shield. Although this shield is sadly not the cool dinosaur one. This one's much more a spiky, more utilitarian one.
Witness. Spikes are cool. You know, there was this intergalactic team. They were called the, they were the acronyms of despair. And they used to wear these big shoulder pads with like spikes on them and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think when Malleus comes out, he is several times shorter, but and he's wearing the fancier clothes like Shemeska had given them originally. This is probably just like a spare suit that was in her storage slot somehow that she gave him the last time, but he's in that fancier gunslinger with the vest and the little bow tie and everything, but now he's got bronzish gauntlets on each arm. He's got his cloak, he's got rings, he's got a fancy new brooch, and he is all grins. It's like the spiky golden horns on his head are just gleaming, but they aren't as sharp and they aren't gleaming as bright as his teeth.
Malleus, we shall make things again.
It's like, deal.
Right. So when Cora steps out, First thing is, she's not any sort of ASMR this time. She is completely human, in chainmail, with a shiny mace and a shield, and with a uh, um, beautiful sun worked with 6 points worked into the shield and into the cloak, the clasp on her cloak, and she just kind of radiates with a gentle dawn light and a sarcastic grin.
Oh, that also would be a dope entrance. Like, you don't even need your own pyro.
She brings
No,
the
I
light.
do
Yeah.
not.
I sense that someone has been waiting to go last.
Here. Otherwise, I was going to make him roll for it.
And you all see Raiders. He's been sitting there. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's still holding the crystal, and he's looking at it, and he says, "You know, I meditated last night, and the Deator spoke to me. It's never happened before.
Cool.
What did the Daedor say?
She said that I've done enough. She said that I've prepared this world, so she's gonna send the collector." Oh,
Okay.
and by the way, I've met this guy once. He's a little odd. Like,
Aren't we all?
he got lost in between dimensions one time. He took a bad portal and he stayed in the deep for way too long. Like, a long time. That's why he's the Deator's collector. Well, and you see him break the crystal, and this black, shadowy ooze or gunk engulfs this massive mount of the old radius. And when it fades away, like, his magical items are on the ground, but you also see something that should not be there, and it is Tilly, the book.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
But the face on Tilly does not look happy. The face on Tilly looks like she is trapped in that book, and it is drenched in shadow.
Oh no! Oh, Tilly.
Aww.
And when Radius looks up, he is now in the garb he had before, but it is now bright red with accented bracers and wraps on his wrists and hands. And he picks the book up and puts it at his side, and he now is back in that white mask he had before. But now he doesn't see, like, he seems more out of place than he did previously when he was glitched. And what that means is you start seeing reflections of previous radiuses in his face. And some of them you don't know. Like, there's one that comes out who looks cocky, has a head full of braids, and he seems to be carrying a bow of some sort, but he's gaunt and withered, and then it's gone. And then you see the big muscular radius, and he's raging at something, and then it's gone. And then this mask is back, and he's looking at you sideways and just simply says, "For the Deator, I will claim this place and many others. Now, I want to find this marauder when we are done, because I still have a debt to collect."
Well, she does still have Rome's crystal in there.
Oh, and his
Uh,
Yeah.
and his torso is covered in magical tattoos.
Okay.
I don't think there was ever anything established about Rome being in the same condition that you guys
Oh,
were.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I had thought he was glitched too, but maybe I was misremembering.
He
that.
is glitched, but he was not trapped in a gemstone like all of you.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
he
Oh,
was
I see.
glitched in the way that you all were before. And so, yes, I know it's a little complicated because there's a lot of big, hand wavy, big magic going
Yeah.
on. Um, but basically, what had originally happened, and you remember this now, is that you had gotten wind of Shemeshka trying something with the Great Modron March, and you had initially intervened hoping to stop them from being captured in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
However, um, you were unsuccessful, and when they were all transported there, and the corruption of reality that resulted is what glitched you all in the first place. And then you were still yourselves with all your memories, but now with this immune to death thing. And you had more than once confronted Shemeshka and failed and died, only to then be returned. And
Mm-hmm.
so you now know she was absolutely telling you the truth when she said she had killed you multiple times. And you also know now that when she said she usually has more defenses than this, she was absolutely telling the truth. You get the sense now that your current confrontation of her was basically her having reset red alert back down to normal running because she thought you were dealt with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so she has dispatched you multiple times, but this last time she managed to basically keep you alive but incapacitated long enough to try to put you in the gemstone, at which point things get a little fuzzy, right? But that is when like were left as you were at the beginning of the campaign. And so, as far as you know, none of the rest of that in between happened to Rome. He managed to get kicked out when the march was captured too, and you had interacted with him before, but he had briefly been captured by Shemeshka, but he was never stored in a gemstone like that because he was never a
Okay.
threat the way you were.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep. So, part of the reason you had always come to her, though, is because this is actually, in fact, the first time that she has willingly given up that where they are and how to get them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
And you also get the feeling, too, that she did that because, as she said, it's probably been long enough anyway. So
Okay.
she figures, short of you finding a way to undo retroactively everything that she's done already, then from her perspective, it's probably fine to go ahead and get them out now.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Good thing
you
that's
think is
how we
probably
happen
the
to
only
be there.
reason she was willing to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Good thing she didn't ask about the Mimir.
She may or may not care about the Mimir.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you would suspect that by the time it came to this point, she was really just kind of like, I just want you to go away. I don't want to introduce new things that might make this conversation take longer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Or has to
The
get
Mimir
repeated.
has
Mhm.
a record of what of of the gate towns.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, it's possible. We'll have to ponder
see.
some and think on it
Mhm.
while we go kick ass and blow shit up.
November 1st.
do we
Yeah.
first wish to contact Rome regarding what we have discovered and if he wishes to join us in freeing the march?
Yeah. As things stand, you're still here in
Yep.
Shemeshka's very fancy extraplanar office. It seems pretty secure, and no one seems to be rushing in at the moment. But you also get the feeling that you probably don't want to stay here too long.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we should vacate the premises and get and find a place to send to Rome.
Yeah. I'll say that since you all now in your current state are powerful adventurers who've been around a while. I'm gonna go ahead and give you some free reign to just tell me that you know things about like the city or about the Outlands and that
Right.
sort of thing too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be fairly lenient with if you want to just
Okay.
know stuff.
So we left Rome in the walking castle
Yes.
outside of the robot city.
Hmm.
Correct.
And we are not currently on the same plane as the. We're not current. We're on some demiplane somewhere.
Yes. Right now.
We're not. Okay. So, um, I'm going to kind of dictate that I know the glyphs for a teleportation circle outside the robot city. It's one that is kind of outside their defenses, so it's not the kind of thing that can compromise them, but people can get there easily, and so I can take us there.
So, strictly speaking, you're saying Robot City. It was not Automata. It was Wonder Home.
Wonder
Wa-
Home, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Wonder Home.
Yeah, it was Wonder Home,
Okay.
Yeah.
but there were a lot of automata there, so I just
Yes,
that's
well,
what you're about.
but also it was
Sorry.
like, yeah, there was like that strange sort of reality disruption
Right.
at the time,
Oh,
but
because of the war, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So I'll say that I know a teleportation circle in Wonder Home, and I can use a plane shift spell to get us there right away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so you're just gonna take yourself there right away.
Yep. Myself and um up to 8 willing creatures. So that's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that
And
the
and
so
the effect of the spell has just got like this. Everybody gets together in a circle, and then this maw of teeth erupts out of the ground around us, forming a dome over us, slides into the ground, and comes up in the teleportation circle.
I am
We're
so
all
glad
there.
this version of Cuspid is back.
Oh God.
So, so the plane shift, when you know a teleportation circle, it just
Yeah.
takes you there, right? Like you don't
Right.
have to roll for. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that given the state of it the last time you saw it, you might have a little bit of wariness of like, what's it actually going to be like when we get there? But you find when you arrive that Wonder Home, at least at the moment, does seem to be restored to its, quote unquote, normal state. Meaning, you arrive at this teleportation circle, and there is a little sign charmingly engraved on wood and brass, sort of pops down on little springs, reading in 3 different languages, like Common, Elven, and Gnomish, I think, maybe, that says, please step off the teleportation circle for the next visitor. And then it kind of springs back up into a little platform. And so you're just like in a like a room. Like there's a little bit of a this is half fancy sitting room and half like bus stop, like bus station. So like it's nice, it's fancy looking, but it's clearly a place where people
Yeah.
wait
Come and
to
go.
either come and go from the teleportation circle.
Right.
Well,
So-
much better than last time.
Yeah.
Anything we want to do here before we head to the walking castle?
No.
Negative.
Yeah, I think we should we can get to the castle and then maybe do some research and come up with something approaching a plan.
Especially we don't know when the next dimensional rift tear thing will
Could happen at any time.
Yeah.
Who has proficiency with Arcana in their current form?
Nope.
Malleus, go ahead.
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever has proficiency in it, go ahead and make an Arcana roll.
All right, so that is a 31.
That's pretty
Oh my
good. Yeah.
god, you're much better. Okay, than I am.
Malleus, you think that you believe that Shemeshka was right that your glitch is semi-stabilized, like as it applies to you specifically, all of you. But the broad glitch to the multiverse that is caused by the Modrons being in the Tyrant Spiral is
Yeah.
still in effect. So the
Mhm.
dangers to the planes are still in effect. You might still see these strange reality distorting events, and you would be in a unique position to observe that they're happening, but it is no longer directly connected to you all. So, meaning they might still be happening, but it's not related to you or your returning anymore.
Okay, cool.
Might still be related to Rome.
Yep, probably still related to Rome. Very good chance.
As you are making your way out of Wonderhome towards the Walking Castle, I am going to actually share with you I realize there's a player art handout that I had never shared with you about your Walking Castle. It just shows it from a distance. So I've just shared with you
Nice.
the Walking Castle.
Yay!
That's a pretty nice bit of artwork, I think.
Oh, that's a gorgeous piece of artwork.
Yeah.
Endlessly explores the Outlands. Yes, it does.
All right, so I'm going to get a little pictures of Rome and Thafier on screen here. But I assume that you're just heading back up there, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hang on. I am not. Okay, hang on. I'm finding that I'm looking for where I've got my. Oh, I see. I forgot about the Rome being spelled with the 4, and that's why it wasn't coming up when I was trying to pull up the handout for him. Yeah. Okay. So I think as you find yourself, returning to the Walking Castle, I think as you come up, Rome is watching over the mezzanine with you, and so is your ally. Is it Zathier? Am I saying it wrong? Zathier. For some reason,
Yeah.
I think I was saying it wrong, but yeah. So as she is, as they greet you, Zathier is just saying, it is good to see that you have returned to yourselves somewhat. I take
Not
it
proud of
your
us.
meeting with Shemeshka was productive then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rome says, I'm very glad that you were not all killed again.
hmm
So are we.
Yeah. I,
Likewise.
I think she got bored of killing us, honest to God.
I mean, it was probably very draining on her resources.
Reminds me of
Yeah.
the end of Doctor Strange.
Shemeska, we've come to bargain.
Zathier says, take the win.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. We definitely did.
Rome says, what's next then? Do you know how to get to the Tyrant Spiral where it is?
We do
Yeah.
know her way. It requires us to infiltrate the uh, the prison of the Mercy Killers.
I think Zathier does this very subtle sort of eyebrow raise. And
Or-
and Rome is just going, uh, that sounds like. I mean, I don't really know, but that doesn't sound like an easy place to get into.
No. Um, it- and definitely correct me if I'm remembering this wrong, Christiana.
Mm.
But the tyrant spiral is in Znebnit. I can't pronounce that
Yeah,
name. Uh,
Zemnid.
Zemnid's
Yes.
realm
Yeah.
by the cavern of thoughts or
Mhm.
behind it. So conceivably we might walk down there, but I
Well,
don't
I mean,
necessarily know that we want to do that.
you could certainly do some research on that now that you know that that is where it supposedly is. I mean, you had kind of heard that. Um,
Mm,
I'll go ahead and say as you start like flipping through some of the books on that, you what you know about Xemnid's realm is that it is the domain of the god of beholders,
Oh god.
which I think
mm-hmm.
you had learned previously, but that
Yep.
is nonetheless true, and that it's basically like he completely controls like access to it. So like if you were trying to just like walk into it, you would only get in if he wants you to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's Mordor.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly
There
what I was
so
thinking.
there are portals and you've been told of at least one and you suspect there might be others. But basically short of a portal that goes straight inside, crossing the border is something that Xemnid has entire complete control over.
I believe our back door is
The
probably
only door.
most.
More likely there, yes.
Yeah, more straightforward.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I have a handout for you of what the prison in Sigil looks like. I'm just gonna show it to you right now. It's just called the handout is just prison. And so in Sigil, there's this big sort of ramp thing that rises up above the level of the rest of the city, and then the tower at the end of it, and that whole sort of complex is the prison.
Okay.
So the other thing is that just saying, "Oh, there's a portal in the prison." I mean, it's better than not knowing where it is at all, and yet you feel like narrowing it down would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the ability to find it if I'm within 30 feet of it, but I have
That's
to be within 30 feet of it.
yeah, that's not very far.
Yeah.
I mean, useful if you know the vicinity that it's in and it's hidden, but
Right.
you kind of would still have to know where to go to look for it.
Yeah.
Is that prison where we were when we got sent to Hopeless?
No, actually, you were in holding cells at the high courts. The prison is where you
Oh,
would have gone if you'd been convicted.
Yeah.
Want to get convicted?
No.
That's one way to go.
Was having that thought.
No, because we'd almost certainly not be able to bring goodies like these. And she waves a hammer around.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well,
And I don't want to try and smuggle my weapons again. That was entirely unpleasant last time.
Yeah. And uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
no, we will have to do
so-
what we do best.
Zathier says, do you perhaps have any contacts in Sigil that might be able to give you additional intel?
Yeah, we had a guide.
Yeah, but she did not want to go back to prison. She had been there before.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
so-
a difference between going. She
Mhm.
got out. She might have no way of getting in.
So
Yeah.
that is absolutely one way to go. I love bringing back characters from the beginning of the campaign, but I'll also, like I said, since you now have your memories and you are adventurers that have been around this place for a while, I think you could also have contacts that we had not previously established.
Right.
If you just want to say,
I'd
oh,
like
I
to.
think I had someone with this faction or that faction or whatever.
I would like
Yeah.
to. Name a person.
Okay.
I. He's a gnome,
Hmm.
and he doesn't give his real name. He's just known uh, as Spark.
All right.
And if he follows the faction, it's not something he advertises.
Okay.
But it's like if you if you need to get someplace without being seen, he's he'll usually be able to point you out a path.
Okay. Okay. So this is someone who maybe is like is he like a thief himself, or is he's more like a thief dispatch?
Uh, he will never admit to being a thief, but yes.
Okay. So potentially there is a faction, the Hands of Havoc, that are like anarchists, arsonists, freedom fighters. Is that the sort of vibe, or is this more like, no, I steal stuff for money?
I think it's more for money.
Okay.
And if you know, if you've done a favor for him in the past, he'll guide you someplace
Okay.
for you know.
All right. But just someone who would sometimes know things about like hard to get into places.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe collects stories about the best infiltrations and exfiltrations.
Yeah.
A huge Luke Holland fan.
What's not to love?
Mm-hmm.
It was working with Spark. That was the last time Kneecap tried to hide weapons
Okay.
on himself.
All right. So where is Spark? Is he in Sigil or is he somewhere else?
I think in Sigil, yes.
Okay. All right. So
Or
that's one possibility.
Rome.
I may have some contacts with the Hands of Havoc that may have a way in, an alternative way in. We'll see if we need to use those, but those will probably be a lot more obvious. Just saying.
Well, so the way I'm looking at it right now, you have basically two primary things, right? One is where in the prison is the portal? And 1B, how does it work? Because lots of times portals
Yeah.
need like a specific portal key or something like that. And
Right.
Shemeshka, you could have maybe pressed for more detail on this, or looked through her stuff while you were still in her office or something. But
Yeah, I
it's
kind
fine.
of
It's
thought of
fine.
that
No,
last.
it just means
Probably today.
that you still need to figure that out. Um, yeah, I'm not chiding you. I'm just saying that's part of what you need to figure out is where is it? How do you open it?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part of that is once you know those things, how do you get there? Right? Because those are like different elements, right? One is just in pure information and the other is making a plan.
Mm-hmm. I can possibly force the portal open if we have to go that far.
Well,
Mm.
I can ask my patron what he thinks, but I'm gonna need some help.
I mean,
What
but
sort of
also,
aid?
If we ask your patron, how many teeth is that gonna cost?
Oh, I've got plenty. Don't worry about that. but I'm gonna need some like psychic protection. Um, over above the table, it's a contact other plane spell, which involves an intelligence save, and that's actually her worst save. So things that
Intellect
give me
Fortress.
bonus, yeah, things
You,
that
I
give me
will.
bonuses on that, and like either bless or resistance, would be helpful preparations for using that.
Yeah. Using force.
Oh, definitely
Okay.
have blessed.
Yeah, you'll definitely have Intellect Fortress.
Okay, all right. So I'm
Okay.
going to use my once per long rest contact other plane spell.
All right.
Um, and uh, the first thing I need to do is make that intelligence save. Um, and I can make it with advantage because of the intellect fortress and an extra d4 because of the bless.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And let's see what we get. Oh, nice.
Looks like 18.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
22. So yeah,
Oh,
he's made that save.
okay. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so you've made the save. You may ask your patron up to 5 questions.
Mm-hmm. Um, and I did this impulsively and didn't prepare the questions I was going to ask ahead of time. So,
Ha
What are the flying my?
um,
Where is the portal into the Tyrant Spiral?
Well, we,
No,
well,
we're inside the
So,
prison.
for picking questions, the answer is always going to be one word or at most a short phrase.
right. So, um, what is your best clue to finding the gate to the tyrant spiral inside the prison?
Oh, interesting.
Grizzit.
What was
So
that
it's
word?
Grizzit.
Okay.
Actually, it might just be one Z. Let me. But yeah, so Grizzit is the answer.
What is your best clue to unlocking the portal of the previous question so that we can use it?
Eyeball.
What threat should we prepare for when heading into the prison to reach that portal?
Detection.
Oh, fun.
Right.
Meaning just like, well, I don't need to interpret it. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What seeming would help us avoid detection best?
Mercy
Because I also
killers.
can catch.
Yeah, mercy killers.
Right.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like guards.
Mm-hmm. 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 Who's your favorite person in the entire universe? You
my
did say you
God.
were really glad that this version of Cuspid came up.
Yes.
Christiana.
Very
That
meta.
would be a little presumptuous. I mean, the patrons got a lot going on. She does like you. I think I think that you get an image in your head
Mm-hmm.
of someone who must also be a patron,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
a warlock of your patron, um,
uh,
who has achieved more than you so far.
okay. Okay.
And I
Okay.
think that you get a vibe with it that this is meant to be aspirational and not like
Right.
you're
Right.
no
Right. It's
good,
like
but like you can go even further.
right. Right. Okay. Not there yet.
Mhm. And I think actually as you focus on this mental image, there is there is a tooth
Mm-hmm.
that is sort of propped up against this sort of throne that this person is sitting on,
Uh-huh.
that it is a fang that has to be 30 feet long,
Oh, okay.
and it is clearly the prize
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you find your focus drawn to that one specifically.
Ah. So. Okay. Well, I share the answers that I got with the rest of the party. Um. And yeah. So we need to sneak in.
I said the word wrong. It is Grixit, not Grizzit.
Grixit.
It is
Okay.
Grixitt. Sorry.
Okay.
That's
So we need to find a fellow named Grixit. Fellow, well, person, anyways. And
Is it a
uh,
person or is it a thing?
it sounds like a person to me. That's the that's the that's
The
the
vibe.
vibe I
Yeah.
got from it. And if um, if this is a person of stature in the city, his name is probably fairly well known. So maybe one of you guys can do it, or we can check in the records here in the Walking Castle.
Oh,
Well, since we're here, might as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So while everybody is researching, then have someone make an investigation check with advantage, because I imagine
Okay.
you're like helping each
I've
other.
got +7. Who's is anybody better than that?
Nope.
what's the
I've got
No.
+5
what are we looking at? Sorry.
Investigation.
investigation.
Nope, not me.
Okay.
What about radius? You're muted.
He's shaking his head no.
Oh no. He's not a this is not a smart, not a intellectually smart person. He's wise.
Okay.
Very wise.
So 26. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was just checking on something. All right. 26. I think 26 is pretty good. I think you find in a book that is about, relatively speaking, recent history of Sigil. And when I say recent history in that regard, I mean it's still like decades old.
Mm-hmm.
But it's you discover that there used to be a faction in Sigil called the Expansionists that were primarily, their belief was that power inherently will inevitably be turned towards accumulating more of itself. And so basically, like the basically anything that gives you power is going to eventually be used to get you more power, and then that's bad. And so it is like you can kind of see why that faction has gone out of favor, because nobody likes them. They're very disruptive. Like even the Hands of Havoc that are kind of anarchists tends to still like use tools and everything. But in particular, there was one particularly troublesome individual in this faction, a human woman whose real name is unknown. But so basically what you find is there are stories of someone had a rather uncanny knack for destroying and sabotaging portals. Sigil runs on portals, right? So someone who's going in, sneaking in, and basically deactivating major portals as acts of like sabotage, and then only leaving this X as like a calling card that it was them that did it. And so this was basically someone where like there was some people who are going like, yeah, stick it to the man, but then there's also a lot of people who are like, I can't get home right now, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a, like a, certainly all official channels consider this person a very dangerous terrorist, and at least in what you have found is that like sort of the collective media came to start calling whoever must be responsible for this the Grixis. Now, you don't have like more current information than that, but what you have are like reports that there was someone who was going around destroying and closing and sabotaging portals that was called the Grixis. Identity unknown was what that news says. But that was like decades ago. And so you can maybe put into some context about
Eat something to chew on.
Well, just also, you're looking in a prison.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that might be an inmate.
Or someone that worked with the Grixis, if not the Grixis themselves.
Yeah.
So,
But that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that prisons tend to keep like records about.
yes.
Yeah.
And I believe one of the questions we had when coming back here was if Rome wanted to come with us.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I mean, I'm not like thrilled about the idea of going into the prison, but like if you're going to where the Great Mudrun March is, I definitely want to go there. So if that's like how we get there, then like, I guess I have to.
I have a safe way to get you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now you don't need things like air and food and things like that, correct?
That's actually not accurate. I am
Oh.
what you call biomechanical.
Aha.
I believe
Ah,
Mudrons actually do need to breathe.
Oh, so
Okay.
you're going to stick Rome in a bag of holding or something?
I was going to stick him in my demiplane.
Oh,
Uh,
that's right. You have a demiplane. I suddenly remembered.
Mm-hmm.
At least the character did. The player did
Yeah.
not. 'Cause the player
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'm double
it's-
checking about Modrons. Like I'm trying to find just a regular Modron, and it keeps giving me all the fancy ones in my little search here. I believe, yeah, they do not have a proper because they have like mechanical components. They're weird little
Oh.
guys, but they are technically still alive. They do breathe and eat and stuff.
Okay. Well then, what I had in mind isn't going to work.
Sorry.
Unless we figure out a way to.
I can try
the-
holding my breath.
Well, it's the place is fairly large, so the chances of running out of air are slim. But I wouldn't want you to get stuck there.
How long was that?
now,
only a few seconds.
Good try. Good try.
Practice would make perfect.
But still not long enough. Let's see.
seem to remember hearing about items that connect to the uh, like elemental plane of air, like a jug that can, you know, you can breathe air from it.
Well,
Unlimited.
it's the place uh, is 27,000 cubic feet. So it's got a lot of air in it.
That would probably it as long as Rome doesn't do any
Mhm.
calisthenics or anything. Probably
So
he'd probably
uh,
I
try to
think the
walk.
demiplane, I feel like there's not a specific rule about how much air there is in there.
yeah,
I think that for all practical purposes, the way that the spell is maintained would not, it's not like a bag of holding where it specifically says,
yeah,
"Here's how long
yeah,
air lasts if you put a person in it." The
yeah,
demiplane
Right.
is
yeah.
not like that. It's
Okay.
and so I would basically say that I don't think running out of air is a practical worry you need to have for that.
All right. Then unless we have anything else we want to talk to him about, um, I will open that up, and that way we can bring him with us without having him vulnerable in any way whatsoever.
Um, you
Okay.
want me to go in
Oh,
there right now?
well,
Well, like unless there's some kind of because
well, if
I can only cast the spell once a day, so
hmm,
this would be you know
well,
see you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow to come back.
Or whatever, right? I figure we'll probably be doing some preparation and that kind of thing. So, um,
I have a feeling. I
but we may if there's like other things we want to put in the demiplane so that we can have them handy, siege
Hmm.
weapons,
Um,
large quantities of explosives, that kind of thing.
You see
Uh,
Malleus's eyes just light up, large quantities of explosives.
remember the caper with the with that tower that used to be there.
Affirmative.
So we've got uh, basically enough space for any kind of shenanigans we want to get up to if we prepare for them ahead of time. About the only thing we can't store in there is a large quantity of living creatures.
I'm just suddenly like my mind is filling with the sort of like okay, you take like a big plank and you put the door on the bottom of it and then stand on top of it, and then if there's a big explosion inside the demiplane, like could you ride that up? And the answer is almost certainly yes, but also there are much easier ways than using an 8th level spell slot and a lot of explosives to have a very poorly controlled flight. But
I do have
technically, though,
I do have Bigby's hand, so I could lift us.
Right. So I'm just saying that's an option for keeping him safe. Um,
Well, I think before we execute this mission, that's when we would send him in there, so that way we can then pull him out once we get to.
well, see, that's the thing. If we put him in there now and then go now, I won't be able to get him out until tomorrow. Whereas
Okay.
if I put him in there now and we go tomorrow, I'll be able to pull him out tomorrow.
Gotcha.
I feel like we could have enough time to prepare. We won't need to necessarily go right this moment.
Right. So, in other words, basically, are there any other things we want to talk to Rome about before we tuck him away?
Does Rome have any questions for us
um,
now that we are restored?
I I think that wherever the Modrons are right now, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty scary place. And
Affirmative.
you guys seem like you're back to your old selves, so maybe that'll be you'll be able to handle it there. But how are you going to get them Modrons out?
Well, how many of them are there in the march?
He starts like he's like counting on his fingers, and then he says, um, I'm guessing based on the rates of loss that we had seen in the other locations, I'm guessing somewhere in between uh, 80 and 90,000.
All right then. So sticking them in the demiplane isn't going to be an option.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
I don't think they would fit.
Perhaps a gate spell might be useful
If we can keep it open long enough.
if we can keep it
Um,
open long enough. Affirmative. How long does a
Uh,
gate spell last?
Or perhaps while we are there, we will find a means to open open the gates, uh, so to say, so to speak.
They were gotten there somehow. Question is, can that be reversed?
exactly. So um, it's clear to me that any of the
Yeah,
resources
yeah.
that we've got to hand are going to
Yeah.
get them out. We're going to
Yeah,
have
gate
to
only
figure
lasts
something
a
out.
minute.
Mm-hmm.
We could not get
Yeah.
90,000 out in a minute.
No.
No, that's something we need to research once we get there and get them freed. The method by which they were brought there and reverse engineer it. Correct, Malleus?
Mm-hmm. We'll have to see how that works.
Alas, none of you, because despite sort of being technically present when it happened, all of you, including Rome, basically sort of suffered the lost in time and space condition for a moment before he got spat back out glitched. So you don't really understand how it happened.
Well, I think on I think either we should research the means of getting them out elsewhere, or improvise on location.
Uh,
I'm all for improvising. That's always worked well for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there also may be something there that will help. They had to have some sort of device to grab everything in the first place, or some sort of spell to grab everything in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I may not look it, but I'm blessed by the Deator. I am very lucky.
Well, that is good.
We will need all the fortune we can muster.
I mean, this is a prison, and
Well, the prison is a prison.
well,
I'm not sure that the tyrant spiral is a prison. It's
no.
being used as one.
But my thing is, we may be able to break into the prison by, you know, a classical route. The supply line.
Well, I was going to, I've got a seeming that I can use to put over us so that we can
Just a
look
bunch of
like
mercy killers.
And then bluff our way in. That's always been
Find the records.
Mhm.
Find the Scrixit. Get the Scrixit. Use the Scrixit to get the portal. Get into the portal.
And then figure
Yourself.
out what we do from there.
Improvisation, as you said.
Get into the portal, question mark, profit.
Precisely.
Yep.
All right then. So I think we've got something of a plan. The next step that we need to do is get to Sigil.
Well, since Wonderhome is in its normal situation,
yeah, I mean that
yeah.
you.
There should be a portal here that'll take us there.
Yes,
I mean that's how you got there the last time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
simply a piece of jade. Unlock the portal and we will go in.
But I think that we want to take preparations as far as choosing spells and things like that. That will, and besides, I will need my demiplane back once I tuck Rome away. So we should go tomorrow. We should take
Here,
a long
Yeah.
rest and go tomorrow.
here's another consideration. If Zaythair is willing, where do we wish to position the castle?
I don't think any problem with right here. It's well connected and pretty
Yeah.
safe.
She says, I am willing to move it wherever it would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I
Where did
mean, if you think there's any chance that we'll be spat out from Zeminid's realm
that's
in that location,
that's the consideration I was calculating. The
So
potential that we were spat
Right.
out there. Having the castle handy would be useful.
possibly.
But it
So
would take time for the castle to reach there.
right, but if we head to Sigil and start our campaign to get in, and send the castle to there, who knows? By the time we're done, may reach us there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan to me.
And even if it isn't there by the time we get there, we'll know where it's going.
Right, and it won't be like in a place with a lot of traffic.
Yep.
Well, from here, how long will it take us to bring the castle towards Sigil?
Well, the castle doesn't
Yeah.
go to Sigil.
We're just going to Sigil.
No.
Then
Yeah,
it's
the spire is pretty steep to climb.
Yeah.
But if it's going towards the mountains somewhere nearby Zemnid's realm, it would probably take a few days to get there.
Distances being, okay, fine,
Yeah.
sort of in the outlands.
In the outlands, yes.
Yeah.
So,
I think that is a wise precaution.
and
on our
I
part.
assume that one of you, one of us has sending spell ready. Hmm.
Or can.
Or can, yeah. Another
Yes.
another reason to perhaps go tomorrow. So we can get status updates in that regard. So
Yes,
I think we have the beginning of a plan.
8% of a plan.
Rome sneezes and suddenly it's raining outside.
Yes. So
I love you, little dude. That is awesome.
I will summon up.
You're welcome.
Um,
No,
I will
it's
summon
not a
up
good
my
idea.
demiplane.
Yeah.
And
Can I get some like food and maybe something to
Yeah.
to read or something while I'm in there?
we can absolutely provide that.
All right.
Yes.
I think he wants saltines without salt to eat.
Mhm.
Hard tack.
And operating manual for some kind of piece of equipment, probably to read.
Yeah.
Technical manuals, just like Scotty.
Yep.
well, I don't know. Full technical manual might be a little racy for a Modron.
Well, it
He's a
depends.
he's
Yeah,
a grown
hey.
monodrome. Don't
Hey,
don't
technical.
infantilize the poor guy.
Yeah.
I mean, tab A and slot B are a whole lot more straightforward with those people.
Mhm.
Yeah. They don't have a lot of the mess.
One of his wings has got rainbow feathers on it. He's not just vanilla either.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you give Rome some things to occupy himself with, and he shuffles off into Cuspid's demiplane. What does it look like in there?
I actually have an image that I'm going to post in. I'm just making sure that I have it. that I'm going to post in the Discord.
Okay.
I'm just you know going through my directories because I've got lots of stuff. So give me just a moment to
Sure,
bring
sure.
that up. Um, yeah, there we go. Whoops, wrong channel. Don't want to do that. I want to do that in our channel. Okay. So there's the kind of layout inside.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
Um, and the walls and floors are made of enameled bone. Um, but there's like all kinds of storage containers and things uh, scattered about. The more convenient ones are on the first floor, and then there's like secured spaces on the second and third.
All right, here I've got
Um,
it to oh, I have to make it much bigger to show on the stream here. But
I'm in old teeth.
um, so yeah, there's a big water jug in there and some casks full of fun spirits and you know supplies and things there on the first level, and then there's stairs up to the vaults on the second level, um, and then above that is the most secure things.
The
nice.
tooth
You guys have seen
repository.
you guys have seen the inside before. You know, she's not coy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, once a day, you can call that up.
Nice. All right. So,
I figure each of you has a chest on the second level for your own personal secure storage if you want it. But yeah, it's not living space because it's not easy to get to
and it can stay open for an hour at a time, I think, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's enough time to be leisurely about getting things in and out, but not if there's large quantities.
It's funny that I've been watching the anime Hunter x Hunter, and the part that I'm at right now has there's a character who has a power that is very much like this spell, and it is instrumental to the plot at the part of the show that I'm in. But anyway, okay, so with Rome tucked away, then everyone can go ahead and get a long rest if you like.
Alrighty.
And choose whatever you feel like you're going to need for your journey to
Alrighty.
Sigil.
Yep.
So definitely switched out to make sure I have sending. Um,
As I make this
see.
high level warlock, it's an interesting balance because my warlock slots are like, okay, yeah, short rest, get them back, boom, 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 just use them, right? But then the Mystic Arcana slots are only once a day, no way to get them back. Be sure about what you're going to do with them
Right.
because there's, they're a limited resource.
All right. So, we can go ahead and assume that like you guys can be doing a little bit of fussing with that
Strategizing.
still, but I guess the idea would be that the next morning you go and return to that the same portal in Wonderhome that
We used before.
yeah. Um, I think that you find in the morning that it is still raining, and it's raining a lot, and so it is somewhat unusual for this area, it would seem. So people are kind of like it's not quite flooding, but it's certainly an unusual amount of rain apparently for the area here.
Oops.
Okay. Well, let's be on our way.
Sure, that looks
Do we
reality.
want to have the seaming up before we go?
Probably a good idea.
One thing that you will know is that if you are apparently, to everybody who sees you, mercy killers, you're going to get people giving you a wide berth.
Right, which is probably a good thing.
That's a feature, not a bug.
Hmm.
Yeah, at least right now.
Right now.
Yeah. So basically, the description here for faction attire: mercy killers are the picture of vengeance. Manacles rattle against their bladed armor, and masks or hoods obscure their expressions, ensuring the face of justice is detached from its duty. So
Mhm.
that's the vibe of these
Yeah.
guys. You all know that basically their whole deal is that cold, relentless justice is absolute. Nobody is above the law. To the jailers, a perfect multiverse is one purged of injustice, but they are, considered ruthless. The name is because they've killed their own mercy because it's an exploitable weakness. Criminals may beg as they please, but their sentences are carried out with unshakable fervor. Now, that said, that doesn't mean that they will just like arrest anybody. Like, it's
Right.
their
So
whole
it's
thing is like, if you have been
criminals.
found guilty and sentenced, we're going to make sure you serve that sentence.
Right.
But it's not just like throw anybody in there.
Right.
They don't make laws or pass judgment. They don't arrest lawbreakers. They are prison guards, basically.
Right.
They act only after a verdict has been made. But they are also not terribly inclined towards even reasonable requests otherwise, though.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like
Maybe it might not
no
be
mercy.
Hmm.
the like if we're gonna meet my contact to not show up as mercy killers.
Okay. Well, then let's not do that first. Then let's go talk to your contact first.
Yeah.
And yeah. So we'll go through as ourselves.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I think, you're all aware that, like, technically speaking, you are still fugitives. But at the same time, it's also like you're a little more formidable now. You don't necessarily look like you did, but it's also possible that there are people in the upper levels of organizations here that would be able to like figure it out. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
We're not going to dawdle.
Well, so maybe some other seeming is
well,
is in
up to
order.
you. I'm just reminding you that that was the where things stood there. You were when you last went into Sigil to see the casino, you were like hustling through.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
I think
yeah,
that's a fallacy. We move
I
the
will
alacrity.
cast seeming.
Mhm.
Um, uh, and I'm going to keep everybody's appearance pretty much um, physically very similar to what they've already been, um, but like clothing and accoutrement and physical features are going to be um, altered so that we don't look like ourselves. Um, uh, and everybody is going to have absolutely fabulous smiles.
All right, great. So, as just a reminder to everyone who's not necessarily used to this spell, this is illusory. It is on all of you, but it is illusory still, meaning if it won't hold up to physical inspection. So,
Right. Right.
um,
But I'm not actually like changing the
sure,
physicality much.
right.
So
I'm just reminding people how the spell works, just so that
yeah.
everyone's kind of on the same page there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably still a good idea to hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so
Affirmative.
you once again you head through the portal. It's a bit easier this time because there's not demons and devils fighting. So I'll put you back on the sigil poster map here, and so let's see. You were actually not that far from the prison, as a matter of fact, but that wasn't necessarily going to be your first
No.
first
So
destination.
where do we find your contact?
Oh, let's see. Yeah. Start at the ubiquitous wayfarer.
Mm-hmm.
Go 3 doors down. Give a knock. He kneecap, mutters a phrase in Gnomish
Mm-hmm.
and gets there's a piece of paper that comes in or that goes out. Comes through a crack in the door. And he just takes off to a completely different location.
Okay, I'm not sure I followed the last part of that.
Basically, let's just say it's a place near the Bones of Night.
Okay, great. So one thing that happens as you're all walking, making your way across, is that the demi-plane, when it's not open, is essentially nothing. It's not like tied to an object on your person or anything
Right,
like that.
yeah.
It's not like
Mhm.
the bag of holding in that way. But there is a point at which you are just kind of making your way down one of these alleys, and you hear the distinctive sound of a sneeze from your warlock symbol.
Oh my god. Oh, Rome.
Okay.
Never change. Except that might be a little
I
disruptive.
wonder what's going on in there.
Technical manuals.
But yeah, as
technical
as you
manuals.
hear that sneeze, there's nothing dramatic that happens, but you do all feel just the tiniest little sort of ripple around you.
Hmm.
Like you look around, there's not anything obviously different, but it's just one of those things of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the demi-plane might be only a partial insulation from that effect.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well,
All right.
that's a good reason to hasten.
Okay, so you make your way to this meeting location, and I think it's not even a tavern. It is basically a bunch of like crates and furniture pallet, like moving pallets and stuff like that, that people have kind of set up as informal tables that they are drinking bring your own liquor to. But it's
Mhm.
clearly like that sort of an informal place that could turn into absolutely nothing in a blink of an
Yeah.
eye. But people seem to have had this spot where they do this for a while. And this you see Spark sees you all come in, or I guess he doesn't see you because you all look different. So Spark is there, and you recognize him. He's just sitting there with a bottle on the crate next to him, kind of. He's got his back against the wall, but he's clearly kind of looking around.
Kneecap will go up to him, put a hand on the bottle, and just kind of will light bop on the head. A Spark.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, okay,
Don't mind the image.
sure. No, okay, I get it. Like you guys are kind of. I mean, I'm glad you're back in the picture. I've been hearing weird rumors about you guys.
Probably about half of them might be true. Depends on which half, though.
Well, now I feel like I want to know.
You know what? After we do what we need to do, I might be able to tell you.
Okay, well, I'm going to hold you to that. In the
Okay.
meantime, What do you need?
We need to get into the prison of the Mercy Killers.
Wow. Okay. You're not starting with like a small favor or anything like that. You're just jumping right to the big stuff. Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. I got the goods, right? So just there are traditional ways to get into prison, but I'm assuming you don't want to be locked up. So, um, prison's a big place. Why do you need to get in there? Where are you going?
There's a portal in there
Okay.
we need to access.
Yeah. Where?
That we are not 100% sure. It
Okay.
has no, the location has something to do with Grixit.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of funny, isn't it? Like ironic, right?
Yes.
Like Grixit's whole thing was like they didn't like portals. They were like they wanted to get rid of portals.
Yes.
Affirmative.
Okay. Well, so the portal has something to do with them? Like, you think it's by their cell or something?
It
Perhaps.
could be in their cell. It's you know
Or they just know where it is and
Well, Grixit is, he's, or rather, she's one of the prison's VIPs when I say, very important prisoners. Um, they're in one of the like that so like when you look up at the tower, right, it has all those spiky bits up and down, right? Like those are where they have cells that are literally like hanging out in air, where literally the only way to them is the one stairway, like, and they're like, like if you were to break through the wall, it'd just be nothing, you'd just be thousands of feet in the air. So like I think like Grixit has like the main cell in one of those.
okay.
So like I mean, if you're in the prison, you could probably just find like they usually call the spires, like they call them like based on who's like the VIP in that one. So like the spire of the Grixit is probably that would be the
first
one. So
fire.
like if you can find that one, um, like there are other cells in the spire, but like if you go all the way through, like you're going to cross over from the central tower, and then you're in like a little mini tower that's like hanging on the side, right? So go in across there, and then the Grixit cell is going to be the one at the top of that. But you're going to have to go through several floors of other cells.
Good to know.
Well, if you're looking for a portal, then that means at least that you only need to get in, right? You don't need to get out also.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Affirmative.
That makes all of these plans a lot easier.
Undoubtedly.
Because usually, people want like getting out of the prison is usually the hard part, which isn't to say getting in is easy. But you guys have got illusions on you. You could probably
Mm-hmm.
do that, right?
I'm using a similar one to keep us low key when we're inside.
Okay. Well, you're probably going to have to get by at least one warden. Like, there's going to be lots of guards, but probably none of them are going to be like you'd need to screw something up for them to see through your illusion. But the wardens are smarter, right? Like, you're going to need like a reason you would need to go there. Like, they're going to want to know, why do you need to go there? And it's going to have to be something that'll pass muster. And if they get suspicious, they might be able to figure out what you're doing.
There's a wizard somewhere in the city who's contacted us, Mercy Killers we are, And we need to gather some Grixis essence in order to close a portal that's malfunctioning. And we're going to capture some of Grixis' power in order to accomplish that. And we've been induced to be helpful.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't necessarily have all of the background on like what sorts of things they usually get up to in there. Like I know some things. I feel like that might be an unusual request, but hey, if you can sell it, then that part would be up to you.
How um you understand that the mercy killers are, they're just executing the punishment. They're not giving the punishment, and they're not,
Well, I mean, it's they don't get to decide whether someone is imprisoned or not, but they definitely get to decide what happens when they're imprisoned.
once they're, but yes.
Yeah.
Um, are do they? Do you know what their defenses are like? I mean, it's a prison, yes, but are there? You say the wardens are smarter, so are they known to be certain type of in combat, like effective in that way, or are they more?
Well, I mean, like you might expect, the most of their like stuff is oriented around keeping prisoners in, right? They're not usually set up to repel invasions, right? But that said, people do try jailbreaks, right? So they are on the lookout for people who might be trying to infiltrate in order to break someone out. So it's not like they've got it set up where they're just literally trying to repel an army or something, but they're on the lookout for tricks. The there's basically 4 wardens that could be sort of on duty at any given time. They are. Let's see, where is it? I lost my. There we go. There's Alarind the Thin, and he is a, you know what they call him, Dracolich. Like undead, but like still smart dragons. And there's Buell. They call him the Bear because he's a bear. One of those bear archons. Um, they got a mind flayer named Gazengar. And there's a Demodand. I don't know if you know those. They're kind of like demons. Only, like smarter. They're a little less. They're a little more like a Yugoloth, But Omulaz. Now, like they're tough. They're smart. And they're on the lookout for people who are going to try to do jailbreaks. But that is what they are looking for, right? Like that is what they're protecting against. And then there's like I said, there's lots of other guards there, but those guards, like if you look the part, they're not going to bother you. But the wardens are going to want to know what you're doing, because they're going to be the ones that feel like they should know if there's official requests, right? So you're going to have to explain why they wouldn't have been notified or whatever.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
And they take that sort of record keeping stuff pretty seriously. I'm sliding this voice back into Rome's. Spark is like this. He doesn't have the the sinus congestion in the same way.
He's not sneezing up a storm and
No.
and
Literally.
Is that not intentional, Dove?
no, not
Your
intentional at
subconscious is
all.
brilliant.
Yeah, I think now's an opportune moment for Rome to actually seize up a storm.
Yeah. Yeah, the your what is your like warlock like holy symbol or whatever it's called?
Yeah, she's
Talisman.
got her little pouch of tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it sneezes again, and all of a sudden the bottle of liquor on the table changes to a different kind.
Mhm.
And Spark kind of frowns at it, but doesn't otherwise seem perturbed.
Yeah.
So I think that you need to, whatever explanation you're going to give to them, like if you're, whatever you're going to try to do, like just be in mind that they are on the lookout for people who are trying jailbreaks. Now, that's not what you're trying to do exactly,
Hmm.
but you're still going to need to explain why you need to go down there.
Mhm.
But like I mean, they're pretty sharp. But at the same time, like if you feel like you can just sell a story, that could work too. They're not
Ideally,
omniscient.
ideally, our uh, if everything goes right, those who are imprisoned, who do not belong in prison, will be set free. So,
Well, I
Well,
mean, technically speaking, there's nobody there who doesn't belong there.
Well,
Right.
that like it certainly depends on who you ask.
Hmm.
in in the prison in Sigil, true, but our end goal.
yeah.
Well, I'm certainly in favor of not having people in prison generally. Just like I'm, if you set all of them free, that wouldn't bother me. But that's also a bigger request, I think. And I think if that's actually what you were planning, I would probably politely excuse myself and say I don't need to get involved in making that happen,
Yeah.
regardless of whether I would be pleased with the outcome. Um, I think that another way to go, certainly, is that if there were something else happening to attract the
Hmm.
warden's attention, then
Hmm.
potentially you might have an easier chance getting through to where you need to be.
Hmm.
A distraction.
I do
Mhm.
believe Malleus.
That was going to be my suggestion. I mean, if they are very much worried and prepared for prison breaks, then why not cause one?
In another wing.
Or the whole prison.
Well, I mean, it's a big place.
It's a big place.
It's a big, big,
Yeah,
big
this is the sort of prison where they have special cells for all different kinds of fancy criminals. They have got anti magic cells for mages. They have got cells where they make like giant convicts wear these special necklaces that make them temporarily smaller so that they won't be, able to, smash through walls and stuff like that. They've got frigid cells for fire elementals and stuff. Like they've got, like, this is not a, it's not like there's just a room where you can go press a button and all the cell doors open.
But now that you mention shrunken giants that could be released,
Mm.
that could be fun.
Yeah.
Just spitballing, just spitballing. And I
We'll
mean,
see.
what if we blow up something very big on one side of the prison, sneak in the distraction, then release some very determined individuals from their imprisonment whilst we slightly skedaddle away.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that we'll find when we get there. Um,
Yes,
but
I think that will be outside of Spark's purview.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
allows Spark
Yes,
some.
of course. Everything that I'm saying to you is purely in the service of hypothetical discussions that
Yeah.
I can't
Of
imagine
course.
anyone would
This is
ever
all
actually decide to take
speculation.
place in. Yes, of course.
Of
So-
course.
All speculation.
This is all
Yep.
a thought experiment. It's to help us
Mhm.
work on our intellect. It's to help us study and prepare ourselves for critical thinking.
Yeah, all of my advice is for educational purposes only.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And not causing and sowing chaos. Maybe,
So,
maybe a little chaos, but still.
All right. Well, if you don't have any more questions, then I'm just going to finish my. Why did I bring this? And it'll serve. But I'm gonna just finish my drink and be on my way. And maybe I'll check the newspaper headlines tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They may be most entertaining.
Well, I see. No, the right answer there is that I won't see anything in the headlines, right?
correct.
Well, certainly nothing like we have been discussing. Of
Well,
course.
I guess it all depends on what you guys are actually trying to achieve. Because if you wanted to just infiltrate and have no one even know you were there, that's one way to go. Sounds
Yep.
like you're leading the other direction. So good luck
Some
for
of
you.
us are.
Yeah.
Some of us are. Some of us aren't.
Yeah, we have to figure this out.
Mhm.
Sometimes the skeleton crew is a stealthy bunch.
Cut to the prison. I'm kind
Wow,
of
that's a
teasing,
big building.
but still, yeah.
Remember this? Oh,
Mhm.
I gotta see this story.
Yeah, Malleus and Radius go one way. Everybody else goes the other way. We meet back up.
Well, the meeting back up is an important part of this plan, unless the diversion crew is not planning to come to the Tyrant Spiral.
Oh no, the diversion crew is absolutely planning to come.
Yeah.
But let's see. Diversion. Big.
Bada boom.
Yeah. I mean,
What-
if we wanted to, I was thinking about Cuspid's hypothetical story, and I'm like, hypothetically, instead of like getting like Grixis essence, is like, well, maybe the wizard is trying to reopen a portal that they closed, and it's not working right. We need to ask her questions.
And what
We
they
need
did
to ask
Right,
her questions on
but
how
the-
she destroyed them, so that this
Sure.
wizard.
Sure, but here's the thing: that
Mhm.
the absolute essence is somebody who is influential in doing that would go to the wardens, not to some ordinary fellows.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
what we might do is um, is be emissaries from someone like that. Who
Is there any way we can throw Shemeska under the bus? I mean,
No problem.
we said we weren't going to go back. We never said we weren't going to cause her problems.
You see,
That is a
you
that is
see
a
Radius
literal
is,
interpretation of the agreement.
Well, there's the spirit, and then there's the letter.
Affirmative.
And Shemeska is more of a letter kind of gal.
yeah, and also
I think she's kind of a neither kind of gal.
She's
Which
kind of
means
a what?
I don't feel bad.
She's a whichever suits her the most at that moment kind of gal.
Indeed, which is why I say if there is ever a moment where we just so happen to name drop Shemeshka and it causes them problems, then oops.
Mhm.
We did it again. Wait, I'm not playing the bard. I'm not playing the bard.
Fair? That is an accurate statement. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So
So
how are we going to do this? Is the question then?
We could try to do we could try to work our way in as like new hires, and then if we get asked by a bigger person, then it's to go question this person. Because again, ironically, they left the calling card of X's, but X would mark the spot here where we need to find our way to this portal. Though
You know, oh, I've got a completely different idea. I've got a
Uh-huh.
completely different idea.
Speak.
Mm-hmm.
What if we just, as ourselves, go to the warden and say, the Modron March has been unjustly imprisoned.
No, we can't use justly.
Well, no, they didn't do anything
They
wrong.
didn't
They
do
were never
anything to.
Well,
sentenced.
well, they were imprisoned without trial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that the Mercy Killers, like
This
they
isn't
might
a
say,
good thing.
yeah,
It's
like
a
that they're
law thing.
imprisoned unjustly might be like, yeah, why are you talking to us about that?
Yeah.
Seems like
They've been,
you ought to
they've
go
been
talk to the
imprisoned without due process, and we need to.
they are not they do not
yeah,
do the judgment, they don't do the
Right.
trials. They only, once the sentence is taken place, is when they kick in.
and they won't
Right.
undo a sentence. So even if they are
Mhm.
put in unjustly, to them they
Mhm.
are justly in
Yeah.
prison.
Well, the other piece is that if you go in as yourselves, there's a
We're gonna
question
end
of
up.
like, well, technically
Oh.
you fled.
We fled
Most of
justice.
you were in custody pending trial and then escaped, which is
Yes.
absolutely the sort of thing they're interested in, far more so than the idea that someone out there is doing a bad thing.
well,
Yeah.
perhaps we go in
So,
guys
so,
and
so,
others.
um, well, any chance of clearing our name in the meantime?
I mean, you would certainly get their attention if you were as yourselves.
Right.
Um, is there another faction that they are, well, for a lack of a better term, friendly with, aligned with?
Well,
Yeah, and
the
yeah.
police faction. I've forgotten their name.
Well, right. So there's the high courts that are like the harmonium is who runs the courts, I think. Actually, hang on, let me um the fraternity of order is like judges, lawyers, legislators. The harmonium are really more like the city watch. Like they are more like the police, whereas mercy killers are more like the Department of Corrections.
Yeah.
So how about we find a way to find a forger, forge a set of documents, like basically to do the.
Mhm. Yeah. The harmonium, incidentally, is who was arresting you back when
Right.
that happened.
Okay.
Not so,
Well,
not even when you were taken in by the automaton after McInnes, but when you
I
were
mean,
briefly
all of
arrested
us.
in Sigil before.
Right. All of us were like alternate versions when
Mhm.
that happened.
Yeah.
That is true.
but no, I'm saying we forge a set of documents from someone that would would actually be communicating with them, and that set of documents are a legal like a court order
Mm-hmm.
for us to speak to Grisket.
Yeah.
Like for the purposes of like to get a deposition or something.
Mm-hmm.
And we just need to
Yeah.
make sure we get a really good forgery.
Well, I don't do that part.
I can talk. We can talk to people, but
Mm-hmm.
like, but yeah, basically use some use some contacts and
Yeah.
find a decent forger.
Yeah. Like if someone, if one of you wants to say you know a forger, I'm open to that.
Um, well,
Strangely enough,
it's
not really Cuspid's.
Mm.
Or a
Yeah.
lawful good cleric's perfume. I don't know.
yeah, it's like
Would
um,
the collector know?
You pick
Maybe
me.
the collector knows somebody.
I mean, if you have a quill, I might be able to make them for you.
But maybe you know somebody who does. I mean, we can get you a quill. How good would you be making them?
I'm okay with it. I'm dexterous in the hands.
well, it's not so much that it's like a good forger would have the
Fake seals and
yeah
be able to know the right language to
Mhm.
write it.
Or at least know where you could get that stuff.
yeah
Or know
Yeah.
right.
But I mean, I think we would account for that stuff in setting the roll in the DC, right?
right.
Right.
Um, let's see. Well, I'm at least only neutral good. Um, don't have to actually worry
Yeah,
about
because
this
like
laugh
there
out
a
loud thing.
forgery kit is a thing, right? Like
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, no. Um.
And technically, I can make quote unquote the right tool for the job.
And
Right.
I have
Actually,
also seen
so I do know someone who used to work at the courts and got passed over for promotion one too many times, and also didn't like how some people were getting out on like technicalities when they actually weren't good people.
hmm,
Um, name of Adenar.
Adenar. All right.
Let me
Okay.
look, and now works in the Hall of Information, but is sometimes willing to see that good is the ultimate outcome,
Sure.
but had a lot of experience writing up all this documentation
Yeah.
and can be we can talk to them,
Okay.
and it's definitely a them.
All right.
Okay.
And the so they live by the Hall of Information, so we can go that way.
All right.
I just had this. I have in my mind that they were like, "This is the third time I was up for the head, the head and prisoner. I was in charge of all the special, the prisons that are for fire elementals and giants. And
No, no, this is someone who worked at the courts.
Oh, see, I thought it was a guard who's very
No, no, this is someone who's like a cleric
Mhm.
in the courts.
But then again, like the courts, like a court order would be something that would be something they would have to respect, but also would be something that they don't necessarily you wouldn't necessarily have to guess literally which people do they know, right? Like if
Yeah.
it's one thing if you're trying to forge something from their boss as opposed to something from another faction that they would respect but not necessarily have firsthand knowledge about.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Adenar, um, I think they're maybe at work at the moment. When do you do ascending or like how do you just go there and look for
Well,
them?
it's a bit, yeah. It's like I know their general work schedule, so I want to catch them at the end of their work shift and say,
Okay.
"Hey, let's like go have a coffee,
Sure.
go have some snacks or something,
Okay.
and
You're
then
eating up time in your seeming spell, but that's fine.
like,
You're probably going to do
well,
another one when you actually infiltrate anyway.
Right.
yeah. So but basically explain that. And I'm going to be pretty upfront with okay, the Modron March has been imprisoned. Um, at,
Imprisoned. I had heard it was
yes.
missing.
Well, we found out that they're imprisoned and the tyrant's spire, is it?
Spiral.
Spiral.
Yeah.
Spiral.
Tyrant
Spiral.
Spiral.
Yeah, tyrant spiral, and we need to get there through a portal in the prison. So
Wow.
I know this
Okay.
is a lot to ask,
Mm-hmm.
but can you write up a court order to so that we can see basically get to where the portal to the tyrant's spiral is?
Okay. You
This way we
just
can free them. Well, free the Mordron
right.
March.
Okay. So you need to an excuse to get into some of the
Sealing.
cells in the prison.
Right. And we
Okay.
were
Specifically
thinking
Grixits.
Hmm.
like an order for a deposition so that we would have to go specifically there to do some like talking and recording, and in the process find the actual portal and free
So
the Modron March.
I can help you, but I guess I have a question.
Sure.
Um, a request for a deposition from the Grixit is going to be a big deal because they're like important and very like access to them is very controlled. So
Maybe
well,
someone in the same wing?
that's what I was just going to say is that will get you past the what are you even doing in this part of the prison easier if you're there to talk to someone other than the Grixit. But that will also mean that whatever documentation you have won't hold up in the Grixit cell, right? You won't have any reason to go that far. So if you go, it'll get you into whatever level that prisoner would be on, but then you would have to still get further. And if you're caught there, you won't have any justified
Backing.
reason to be there. I can
There's
forge the something for the Grixit, which would get you all the way there if it works, but you're still gonna get there's gonna be more attention on you for the whole thing because people are gonna want to know what you're there to ask them, what do they say, all of those things. So you're gonna have probably company along with you if you go all the way there. But the flip side is that if you're going to talk to some nobody that's just in the same wing, you're not going to have any reason that you would need to go all the way down there, and you might have to figure something else out for that last stretch.
even if we even have to go that far.
Well, I guess, yeah, I
That's
don't know exactly
yeah.
where you're trying to go, but I mean, if you need to go
We're
to the
tr-
Grixit
we're
cell,
we're trying to find the portal, and we know it's somewhere that either near the Gritsit or the Gritsit knows where it is.
okay. Well, that sounds like you probably need to get all the way to that cell then,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
going to be at the top floor of that little spire. Um, well, so I guess that question is then if you feel like you might get a warden wanting to come along with you if you're going to do deposition of the Grixit themselves. So if you feel like you can handle that, then maybe that gets you all the way there. Otherwise, you might have to just sneak that last little bit.
Do you
I
have
think sneak that last little bit. I think because once we're past the wardens, we just have to worry about the guards.
uh, thinking maybe how close someone that we can how close we can get to there to shorten the amount of sneaking we have to do with an acceptable level of
Risk.
risk.
Is like if there's someone in the cell directly below the Grixit, that would
Um,
Oh, that would well. That
Well,
would
no, not necessarily work.
yeah, that might be too specific because that would mean we'd have to like take into consideration the position of that special cell and all that. So,
right. Yeah, you probably don't. I can I can probably find out someone who is in that wing,
Mhm.
right? In that spire. I don't know if I can guarantee you that I they don't keep super good external records of which individual cell people are in, unless they're the ones where the whole spire is focused on them. But I can get you a name of someone who's in there and write up something that explains why you would need to go question that person over something that's not so important that they would feel like they need to accompany you.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, guys, we don't have to make our way out. So if we have,
Yeah, we're not
But
looking.
the question is, where is the portal to the Tyrant Spiral located within the prison? Grixit may
Well,
be able to tell us we have to get out from his cell, their cell, her cell to that place.
right.
well, now I will say, if a warden does come with us to do this questioning, I'm not against killing that warden in that cell and getting the Grix out of there and then finding our way
I'd
out.
rather not if we, because that's
We're already in enough trouble with Sigil as it is.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
Let's
I
not.
think I don't need to hear anything about killing a
but
warden.
We're not
yeah,
going to do that.
It's one
Indeed.
thing to
Nobody's.
yeah.
no, I
No.
don't. No,
Look,
no.
I
They're
know
just
that
doing
you
their
wouldn't.
jobs.
Right. I know that you wouldn't be doing this if you didn't feel like it was the right thing to do, and that's why I'm willing to help you. But I also believe in you that you wouldn't kill people unnecessarily. So,
No,
Yeah. No.
yes.
No. 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 No.
So,
no, that's a
right. Yeah.
bad plan.
Yeah. So, um, that said, if I, this seems like it's very important. So I understand that you might need to do what you need to do, but obviously, let's have not be Plan A.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah. Okay.
that's plan Z.
Well, all right. Well, good. Good. Okay. Great. So,
It,
so
yep.
is
Zed,
that's
not
the
Z.
plan? Then you want something for one of the other prisoners. Then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Affirmative.
Let's see. It looks like, yeah, it's close to the end of the shift. I can get back in there. I need to grab a couple of things, but meet you at that cafe, the transit T Street Transit, in an hour.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
Thank you. And let me know anything you need. Um, like that we can bring anything you need
Okay.
that you don't have there.
I think I'm can get what I need. Thank you. That's good. So, here's what we're gonna do, though. All right, is that we are going to assume that this person knows what they're doing, that they're good at this. Okay. So I'm going to essentially assume that what they've got is a +10 modifier for generating these documents. Because this is your contract, your contact, Cora, I'm going to have you roll the d20 for them.
All right. 26. With the
26.
+10.
Yeah, with the +10. 26 is pretty good. I think she gives you, it is, let's see, hang on. I can give you the specific other prisoner here. Let's see. Uh, she said This is kind of ironic, but the prisoner that I thought was going to actually be uh, what they would think of as, like, what the wardens would think of as the most boring, and so not want to accompany you, but it's actually a Modron. Um, there's a Decaton Modron that turned itself in after a Pentadron under its command malfunctioned and abandoned its post. And so it turned itself in saying, I am responsible for this failure, put me in prison. And they did. So it's
Alrighty.
there. Um, and so I don't know that it has any connection at all to the Modron March. I think it's just a coincidence. But at the same time, I think that's a prisoner that they don't really care about very much.
Yep.
And so probably if that's who you're there to talk to, they probably won't be that interested. And so I think I was able to, like, except for, of course, this is not really coming through official channels. What I'm giving you is essentially like the real document they would make. But it is, of course, a lie. And so if they were to check on it, that wouldn't work. But it should be, just from a piece of paper standpoint, it should get you what you need. So as long as you don't slip up in some other way, I think this should give you that access. It says that you are there to basically, I think you just needed to get from it a detailed accounting of all of the duties that Pentadron was supposed to be doing that day, which is exactly the sort of information that would make all of their eyes glaze over, the idea
Yeah.
of sitting there while you get that information.
Given the time, given what we've experienced uh, in the
Automata.
automata, that would make their eyes glaze
Yeah.
over.
So that Pentadron or that Decaton rather is currently on level 5 of the tower. That spire where the Grixit's imprisoned has, like, once you cross over from the central tower, there's 6 levels, and then above that is the main. Like, there's a sort of a big room where the small cell is in the center of it, and so that would be like above level 6, and this prisoner is on level 5. So this paper should get you all the way there with no problems, assuming nothing else crazy happens. But from there, you'll be on your own.
Okay.
Right.
Affirmative.
Awesome.
Alright.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. And thank you for helping us rescue the march.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. That seems really important. Is there anyone you want me to tell or keep it completely secret? I mean, I like, is there anyone you want me to notify if I don't hear anything
Nope.
back from you? Or
No,
Nope.
this
Okay.
is we're keeping this on the down low right now in case we fail.
Yeah.
all right,
And
well,
if we do, you will definitely know.
that's alarming. But I'll
Yeah.
just I'll just hope that you don't
Unfortunately,
fail.
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Good luck.
And for her efforts, this radius,
Their efforts.
this radius will reach into his bag, and he will have one of those platinum coins that we had from the casino.
Oh, the token,
yeah.
the platinum chip.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh wait, a minute, I thought I had all of them, but I'll give you one.
That's fine. You can, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. He didn't. He
I'll
knew
turn to me to ask for one. I'll hand it to you to
because he knew he wouldn't be able to collect on the money he won.
And she sees that, and her eyes kind of just get wide and just say, "Is that used for gambling?"
You take it to them and say you want to cash it in. It should be worth a hefty amount of gold.
Okay.
Don't,
Thank you. Thank you.
but don't gamble. Gambling is bad. You are always,
Oh, I would never.
always
That's
win.
dangerous.
So
Thank
if
you.
you get it, yes.
And good luck.
Thank you.
All right. So, with Adenar's forged documents in hand, um, uh, incidentally, part of this whole ploy is that what you would want your seeming to look like at this point is Harmonium, not
Yeah.
Mercy
Right.
Killers. But that goes along with this forged documentation.
Yeah.
All right, so you heading back to the prison then?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
And I will cast Seeming again so that we look like Mercy Killers.
No,
Or
Or
the
Harmonium.
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 Harmonium, right? Harmonium.
So the harmonium, where most they are known as hardheads. They wear the faction's standard issue armor, a distinctive suit of red plate with bladed pauldrons. Under their helms, they sport short, no nonsense hairstyles.
So yeah, that's what we got.
Mm.
All with beautiful smiles.
All with absolutely perfect smiles.
Nice.
Thank you, Custer.
Okay, so I think we've got this artwork for what this little prison complex looks
Yeah.
like. So I think that as you make your way up that sort of like ramp structure, um, you are really not. People aren't really even giving you a second look. I think Harmonium people do come through here. Not it's not their primary place of business, but they come through frequently enough that it's not anything that anyone pays particular notice to. So you make your way up through there and uh, to the like the entrance to the base of that central tower. And that is the first place where you see that there are a couple of Mercy Killer um, guards working, what's more or less like the reception desk. And so this is the first point where they look up to you, bored, and they just say, "What's your business at the prison?"
We're here to look at the papers. We are here to perform a deposition of, and I'm forgetting the Modron's name, but
You didn't actually have it as just a Decaton Modron. I think
What?
on the order that you've got, it's got like a 25 digit binary number.
Yeah.
Uh,
You could probably
right.
you could
Okay.
just probably just
And it's
show
the
them the
vote.
paper.
Wait, oh, right. Turn it around so they can see the
Yeah,
number
they kind of
designation.
squint down and it's like, oh right.
Um,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm here to
Um,
perform a deposition on
Okay.
this individual.
And he's like looking at like a clipboard and he's just like, I didn't have this on my list today. You want to just go up right now?
If that's all right by you.
Um, yeah, I think that's fine. All right. Yeah, so obviously, you know where you're going. So, you know the drill. Don't go anywhere you're not supposed to go. Check in with the warden when you get up the. You know what? All right, go.
Yeah.
All right, you're good.
Thank you.
And so he's waving you on. So,
Yep.
as you are making your way inside the prison, you're traveling up spiral staircase that's going up like you're basically climbing about like 40 stories of stairs here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's different levels getting out that have like gates that go through, and there's like the lower level cell blocks are on some of these floors, but you are heading further up. And here's where I'm going to have someone roll a d4 to me to find out which of the wardens is on duty.
Here you go. 2.
A 2. All right. let me. So, um,
Oh God. I don't like that face.
Uh-oh.
Someone who
Well,
can see
What?
through
Please let
illusions.
it not be the Draco Lich. Please let it not be the
So-
Draco Lich.
I think
it's
we're in
not
trouble.
the Dracolich,
Okay.
but
Mind Flayer?
no,
Fine,
I
Fire.
mean,
it's the one that the four of you may have initially thought would be the best of the four to get. You finally climb to that last level where you see that there is
Oh, it's the
a
Bear
big desk.
Archon.
It's the Bear Archon, Buell the Bear, who has true sight.
Shit.
So,
No.
so what I'll say here, this is not instant fail, okay?
We
Because
just have to
he has
really
true
dig
sight
hard on
within
numbers.
30 feet.
Mhm.
And this is a big room.
So if we can stay at the
Right. So, but
edge.
that's kind of the trick, right? You're going to try I think he, he's sitting there at his desk, and I think it's kind of a comically, like, it looks. No, I was about to say it's like I'm imagining the Great Big Bear at a tiny little desk, kind of like in The Incredibles, right? But I'm also imagining like that he shares this desk with like a Dracolich. So I think that, you know what? I think the Dracolich just does not even bother with the desk. It is a regular person-sized desk, and Buell the Bear does at least try to use that desk, and so it looks a little bit silly. He's kind of hunched over, and he's fussing with some papers on it. But then when you come up, so I think you are not immediately as you rise to that level and enter that floor. You are not immediately within 30-foot range, but
right.
he looks up to you and he just says, "I assume you've got orders to be here?"
That is correct, sir. We are here to perform a deposition on, and I'm going to start reading out the numbers.
Okay.
And Radius
Um,
and say that bucket of bolt.
as you're reading the numbers, and as he says that, he's just like, just let me see the paper, please.
Okay.
Um,
Mage hand.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Someone wants to.
What's the lighting like in here?
I think it's it's the magical equivalent of bad fluorescence.
Okay,
Right?
good.
Like, it's not dark exactly, but it's not quite as bright as you would like. If you feel like one of the ones in the corner is flickering a little bit.
One of them
Um,
making a funny noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Radius will grab the paper, and since I no longer need dim light for this, he will literally teleport over to him and hand him the paper, and then teleport back.
Well, so
That's gonna.
Well,
he's
no,
gonna-
like, but not teleport. I should say he can step that way. He can walk.
no, but
okay, but
that's
That
gonna.
would-
He's gonna.
Oh, that's
switch-
right. We're supposed to be those.
the whole point is that if you get within 30 feet of you, he's going to immediately see through the illusion that's on you.
So
Mhm.
Yeah, just mage hand it
That's-
over to him.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't have mage hand on that one.
I got.
I do.
All right.
Okay.
So Malleus, you use mage hands to carry the paper over to him, and I think as he's watching you do that, there's a little bit of a
Curious.
okay. And I think that there's a little moment where anyone who'd like to make an insight check can.
Yeah.
Oh
good.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
he suspects something. 21.
Okay.
28.
28. Yeah. Those of you who got above 20 here, catch that he very subtly. So first of all, there's a little bit of a like, that's weird, and there's a moment where you catch him very subtly, kind of going. like sniffing at himself, like is like are they staying away because of smell? But then you get the impression though that he doesn't smell anything like that. So he's not doesn't seem to be why. But he does take the page um, from the mage hand, and he's just like, "Oh, all right. So why wasn't this put on the agenda for today?"
We were not told why.
Just came
Just-
down the pipe. You know how orders are.
Someone make a deception check with the advantage between Cora and Radius, who are the ones that spoke.
Yeah.
So
I'm a +8.
I ain't got not a charisma in the house. So
Okay,
you know
well.
what
Hey!
all right.
Nat 20.
Oh, look at that. Natural 20. Okay, so I think I had set the DC higher because of it being weird how you're like keeping your distance. But with a natural 20 though, when especially when you're saying weren't told and then you know how orders are and he's just going, "Boy, tell me about it." The truth is, I hope you brought snacks because this guy's going to have you there all day.
I think that's why we were assigned to this. We've dealt with some Modron before.
Well, you'll forgive me if I don't accompany you down to that particular cell.
Completely understand, sir.
Yeah, Radius
And-
is like,
Yeah, I was just gonna
We're-
no, bear not.
And as we're going away, I'm gonna like poke a kneecap and say, "I told you we got this. We shouldn't have gotten on the captain's bad side."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are able to basically go back to the stairs without getting within 30 feet of him. But I think it does. Let's get a group performance roll because I think it's doable but slightly awkward. And so you're in pretty good shape here. This is not a crazy thing, but I would like to just see everybody making an effort here.
Oh boy.
Okay, can I make deception instead of performance?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I guess
That's-
performance or
15.
deception is easy. Okay.
They're both terrible.
All right.
out of the way.
But I rolled okay.
Oh,
Okay. Well, we got a couple of low ones, but also several high ones. I think. Yeah. I think.
I
Hmm?
well, kneecap helps sell it by kind of holding it, rubbing his stomach a bit, and then letting out a large fart.
Oh,
Get close.
Okay.
oh, Nico.
Yeah. So I think. Yeah. I think all of you there. I think the last look. Whoever is kind of like the last to leave the room and kind of glancing over their shoulder at him, and I think he's just kind of shaking his head and going, "Oh, wouldn't trade jobs with those guys." So I think that yes, you have made it past the warden. You were not given directions to where you're going, but you have made it past that like warden check-in, and so you are now basically up at the. So if you look at this image of the prison here, you can see that there are a couple of places where there's these like downward pointing things that have like little bridges over to them.
Okay.
Are people seeing this? And I'm not.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you're looking for like a bridge out to one of those things.
right.
But he didn't really like give you directions. He seemed like he was sort of just treating you as though you know where you're going. So I guess what I would like to ask is you have made it through that first sort of checkpoint, but
Right.
and now you're passing guards at semi-regular intervals, but they are not really paying any particular attention to you. You seem like you
know where we're going.
you belong here, but certainly to the extent that you start to look like you don't know where you're going is more suspicious. But how else are you going to find out where you need to go specifically?
Right.
Are there signs or anything, or
Um,
Numbers, probably.
yeah, there's basically like there are I think they actually have it as like there's various little like symbols like little like a little diamond here, a little spade there, a little star over there, like different sort of wings of this this sort of 12-point star shaped tower has like different symbols on there in different places. So I think that potentially intuiting how all of that signage works and what it might mean, and based on what you've got and all that, I mean, we can do that with a roll. But I was just kind of looking for someone to tell me like what is even the strategy? How are you? What are you trying to do?
Um,
Well, on the paperwork, does it say what cell they're
oh
in?
no.
I mean, it says yeah, it does, but it's basically saying level 5, cell 3 on Spire of the Grixis.
And remember,
Uh,
it wouldn't be necessarily out of the ordinary for us to ask where this cell is because we're not mercy killers.
Well, potentially, because but at the same time, if you are Harmonium officers tasked with
Doing this.
doing this, that people are gonna maybe assume that you're here doing that before. Like the whole thing, like that whole like clipboard effect of like it works as long as you look like you know where you're going.
Right.
Like that
yeah.
only works so long as you don't actually have to ask someone where you're going. And so that's not to say you couldn't ask someone. It's just that you would potentially have to try to do so in a way that doesn't seem suspicious. And I'm not saying that that's an instant
Yeah.
fail condition. I'm just saying
I'm
that,
just.
any interaction risks something, right?
Right. I I don't listen. I know what I would say, but also Radius is not charismatic. He is not good at this.
Hmm?
And also he is a blatant liar at times.
All right.
Highly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Would would Spark have had any kind of information about this? I
I
know we didn't specifically ask him when we were there, but he was very well informed about
I
the
mean,
Complicated.
prison.
so look, basically, I'm going to need you to make a roll. If we want to
Mhm.
say maybe we did actually ask, we did remember to ask Spark, then we're going to basically roll to see if you did,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So my point is that like you guys tell me what the strategy is, and we'll do a roll. And if you want the strategy to be actually want to retcon a previous conversation, we can do that, or it could be anything.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I think listen, we could ask them because listen, Radius.
Mhm.
If we ask a guard, Radius is gonna be like, "Hey, look, man, I was just trying to help a friend out that he didn't
Mhm.
want to go talk to this Modron. They say this Modron's gonna tell him about like some detailed account. Like your boss told us to bring snacks. This is gonna take a while. Where is this robot? I don't. I'm just trying to help a friend out.
What I don't understand the help a friend out
Or
part.
basically like my friend didn't want to come do this because he knew it was going to be boring, and
I see. Like you got
yeah,
stuck. You wouldn't be the normal person to do this, but you got
yes,
stuck with it. Okay, I see. I
Yeah.
see.
because of how boring
Sure.
this is going to
Okay.
be.
Well, make a deception check as you approach this guard, who I think's like he's a half orc and he's got the chains and manacles hanging from his armor, so it like jingles when he moves.
That's a 7. But you know
Yeah.
what?
How about flash of genius? I can add a 5 to that.
Okay.
Can I get lucky?
Going, dude.
You want to? Yeah, you want
He
to do
lost a
luck?
bet.
Yeah,
Bad.
I would like. Yeah, I'll be lucky. I'll lucky.
Okay.
I'll try that with this. Try it again. There we go.
Okay,
Well,
15. Are you still doing your flash of genius on there?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think then with that bringing it all the way up to a 20, I think the uh, this guard looks at you and goes, "You got taken, my friend."
I'm getting kind of the hint of that. Yeah.
This Modron like is not even any fun to punish because he like thinks he deserves to be here, even though as far as I can tell, nobody even told him he had to be.
You think he's malfunctioning?
Look, I don't want to even try to speculate on what Modrons are supposed to function like, much less what this guy's got going on. But if you've got a job to do, you better get on and do it. I wouldn't want to be on the bad side of someone who told you to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, you want okay. If you're following clockwise around the tower, you're gonna get to the third one over, and it has a little. It's got a little gear on it.
Hmm.
Take that down, and then the bridge will take you over to that spire.
You.
Thanks.
Gotcha.
And I'll remember next time when there's talkative Modrons involved, not to get involved.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I think you make your way over there. And I'm actually going to put us on a map. It's not like a full combat map, but it's like a vibes map.
Okay.
Um,
Vibes map all the way.
yeah. So I've got part of it.
Ooh.
So
Oh.
first of all, you see like this horizontal, side view of this overall tower that you're in, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this level 1 that you see should be
Mhm.
understood as like that is like a tiny part of the center of one of these vertical spikes on the outside of the tower. Like that's how
Right.
big this thing is. This place is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So when you cross over that little bridge, you are basically coming in on these stairs into the center of this area. So there are
Right.
some like offices and stuff here that
Mhm.
this is basically like guard stations, right? Where like
Yeah.
guards hang out and have some places where they can like sit down and get their stuff, stash their gear and that sort of thing like that. And then there's in the center there's some stairs that go up or down. And
Right.
what you know is that like there's signage here that this is level 1.
All
And
right.
you know that your paperwork is telling you to go to level 5 of this spire.
And how
Um,
many
so
levels are there?
um,
6.
yeah, there are 6, and then above that is the Grixis cell.
Okay.
So you crossed over on the bridge, but you are now climbing upward. So because these spires, like they're still separate at the top, right? Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
So like the only way to get to there is to come the way you're coming, which is across the bridge
Right.
and then up through the tower.
Right.
All right. So because we're in a situation, we're in a case where you've got paperwork, your disguise is still in place, everything is going pretty smooth. You are not being challenged at the moment, so I'm not really going to have us be like in initiative or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal more of the map here.
Okay.
So you're probably not seeing the level 2, level 1
Oh.
labels, are you? Or are you?
No.
Not seeing
No.
labels. But
Yeah.
Just seeing-
See,
just
this
seeing
is it's weird that they don't like it. They don't make it easy for me to. Oh, that's right. Here. Yeah. Hang on. Let me just
there
go
we
ahead.
go.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
just
no.
have to put all those on the map layer because God forbid players see things like level 2, level 3, and it might be spoiled. So we have to always default to put those on the GM layer. But so as you can see, as you get up to like level 2, you're starting to see that there's some cells in there. And let's see. level 4, level 5. And so I think as you are entering each floor, there are guards there that are like watching you, and it becomes pretty clear after the first one. The first one asks you for your paperwork, but it becomes clear after that that if you just like hold it up so that the guard sees that you're carrying something that looks vaguely official, like they just like they wave you through.
Okay.
Um, and that gets you up to level 5. And so when you are on level 5, you can see these cells are a little bit smaller. They're a little more sparse. Um, here's a question for you. There is like a little guard that's sort of like at this doorway where the landing is for the spiral stairs. So when you get to level 5, per your paperwork, this is where you are supposed to stop climbing and go and talk to this decaton. Are you going to do that, or are you just going to keep going up and hope that the guard there is not paying enough attention? Because that's
I
going
think we
to
should just keep on going up. We
Okay.
should just keep on going.
All right.
We'll try the clipboard effect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you remember, the risk at this point is basically the higher you're going, the more it's kind of a bigger deal that you're going that far, right? So, but like for right now, it seems like it's working. Who is holding the paperwork and kind of being the group face for? Okay, so let's get a deception check as you are kind of passing by this guard and continuing to troop up there.
All right.
Trying to think of a way I could help.
Not 20.
Not 20.
Not 20. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, this guard is like he is like he does sort of like lean in and like squint at it, but then you kind of flash him one of those cuspid granted brilliant smiles and you know just how to use it, and this guard kind of blushes and goes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you as you're passing by, you just go, whew. All right, so level 6. As you get up to this level, once again, there is like a guard who's sort of monitoring the stairs, and then it would continue to go up. And so your understanding is like the next level of stairs up is the Grixit's cell, and so like it makes sense to you that this guard is a little bit more placed like you'd really have to go past him to keep going up the stairs. Like, and so you have reason to expect that this is a little tougher. So
Okay.
what's the stage here? You only see the one guard at the moment.
How big are these levels?
So I would say that these little teeth of the gear shape here are like maybe 15 feet deep.
Okay. So I want to turn on my portal sense here
Okay.
because I can sense it within 30 feet of myself as an action.
Okay.
And so just because I'm not totally convinced that the portal is in the Grixit cell
Sure.
itself.
Sure. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
fair question. How long can you keep it on? Like, how does that work?
It's an action.
It's an action.
Okay.
Hold on, let me grab that thing. Portal sense, you know the direction of the planar portal. Moreover, as an action, you can detect the location of any portals within 30 feet of you that aren't behind total cover.
Okay.
Oh,
But see, I don't know how that would
How,
work.
that would
do you have a
be-
number of times you can use that, or is it just like whenever you want? You just have to use an action to do it.
Until I detect a portal, I can use it continuously.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Then you start looking, and it can kind of just keep looking.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of like sonar
Sure.
until I
So
find something.
what I'll say is that you don't sense it yet.
Okay.
But
Alright.
knowing that it's behind total cover, that would even just mean if it was one of the cells on this level, you wouldn't be able to detect it from here without like walking around the hallway to look into one of the cells.
Okay.
So so basically you don't sense it right away. You've got the guard here though, and it's clear right away that he's a little more serious. He's going to want to take a close look at your paperwork.
So
Can I see your orders?
try the same trick again.
I mean, he seems like he wants to look closely at them. So, I mean, you can go ahead and you can try the same deception roll again. But like I said, this is a
Yeah.
higher DC.
Yeah. I can at least try
Make it
the
lucky.
roll.
Because remember, the whole reason you wanted it to be a lower level was because people are going to pay attention if you're going to the Grexit.
Yeah. But at least we don't have the warden with us. All right.
Are we still
Well.
in bad fluorescence? Or is this more like dingy, prison lighting?
Yeah, I think it's yeah, I would say it is not really dim light, but it is grimy light.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a 21 is pretty good. So I think what that does is you're getting basically partial success where he's looking at that. He's well, so he's wanting to look at it. I guess tell me what your move
That's
here
what I'm
is. Were
working
you
on.
trying to just sort of like stroll on by and not let him get a good look at it, or what is the move here that the
I
21
was trying
reflects?
to do the stroll by, not get a good look.
Okay. I think that you watch his eyes sort of like flash onto the paper and then look away, like he's satisfied by, oh, you've got orders, right?
Yeah.
But I think where this 21 doesn't quite get you everything you wanted is that he's like, you guys are going to talk to the Grixit? What about?
There's a complicated matter regarding portals that we've been asked to depose her about.
Whoa. Surprised the warden didn't come along with you. Like, they're usually pretty, like, they want to know what's going on with the Grixie, right? Like, I mean, I guess you'll tell them, right?
Yeah,
Or-
they were unfortunately in a meeting, but part of our requirements is to provide a full accounting and a copy of the deposition.
Okay. Um, all right, so we've got, look, so, like, I'll level with you. Like, the guards that are usually up there are, like, kind of on break right now. Um, maybe.
I'll leave that out of the deposition.
Well, yeah, for sure, please.
Yes.
Like, cause I mean, like this is like they're allowed to take breaks, right? Like, I mean, nobody's breaking
Yeah.
the rules.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like maybe I should go up there with you.
If that's what it takes.
Well,
How long are they going to be on break so we don't get you in trouble?
yeah.
Um, well,
There's probably going to be a lot more uh, there might be a bit more heat on you if someone else were to come up and you're not here.
Well, no, I mean, I think because the guards are not on duty up there, like in case anything like happens, like if the Grixit tries anything, like obviously I think you're all probably pretty capable, but like we would want to have a mercy killer in the room, right? If something like that were to happen. So I guess what I'm just saying is like I should be there too.
I'm gonna like start looking through the paperwork to try to see
Okay.
like
Well, you can also,
what.
if folks want, you can make an insight
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I
Yeah,
make an
let's make an
insight
Yeah.
insight check.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Because I have a feeling he just wants to meet the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
26.
Yeah. I think that 26. Yeah, the vibe you get here is that like nothing he's saying is incorrect, but that he is more motivated by if someone's gonna talk to the Grexit and ask them questions about stuff, he wants to see that. And so, like, it might be that everything he's saying is technically true, but that's not really what he cares about.
Mm. He wants to be able to gossip about it later.
Yeah.
Um.
So, like, he believes you're official, but he wants to come to.
Right. Um. Trying to think of a way of.
Uh,
Mm,
Like
Well,
I think
convincing him not to.
I think
Oh,
we might
I
be
mean-
stuck with him. Yeah, I might be stuck with him.
Kneecap would like to go to him. Do you understand how portals work? Like the magic behind portals?
um, kinda. I mean,
We're going to be getting into some extremely technical stuff, and it's not going to be interesting at all.
Yeah, my sister tried to explain to me like this much of what we're gonna be what's gonna be talked up there, and I got a nosebleed.
go ahead and make a deception with advantage.
Okay. 13.
13, like I think you do see like some of the glimmer in his eyes is dulls a little bit, like he's like, oh well, I guess like
We're talking all theoretical stuff.
okay, um
There wouldn't be much to tell anyone about, and
all right,
particularly since we have to give the transcript over, a
okay,
copy of the
well,
transcript over
like
anyway.
how long you think is it going to be, you think, like
We've got a fairly narrow set of questions, but
Probably
um,
about half an hour.
well,
Probably an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah.
okay,
yeah,
well, so
and the other guards should be back by then.
oh yeah, no, they definitely will. And so like I guess if you need anything before that, like I'll keep here, watch.
Yeah.
And he kind of demonstrates like how he uses a chair to kind of prop open the door that goes to the stairs further up, and it's just like if you yell down the stairs, I can hear you from here. So if you need anything, like let me
Yeah.
know.
If
Like and
anything
I
happens,
like
you'll hear it.
yeah, and if you need like to know anything like from like guards' perspective about the Grexit, right? Like the things that
Yeah.
they'll say might not always be true, right? But like if you need input,
Yeah.
just let me know.
Yeah.
Certainly.
If we need any additional information, I'll certainly ask.
Okay, cool. All right, so I think he does leave the door propped, which just means that it's possible that if loud things happen, he might hear it. But otherwise,
Ideally, it's not going to be loud.
yeah. So, as you go further up the stairs, you're going to see some stuff that needs a little bit of explanation. Why does it do that? So, you are coming up this level that says lower jail, right? You are coming up these central stairs, but these little four little curvy things are the legs of a big platform. So the Grixis cell that you're seeing on this upper piece is like it's this platform in a big room, right? So it has its own stairs going up, and the little curvy things on the lower level are like the legs of the platform.
Okay.
And so,
I'm
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk around the base of that with
Mm-hmm.
my portal sense on to see if I can find it.
Yeah. So as you are, um, like, so if when you're directly under the platform, that still would be total cover. But
Mm-hmm.
I think as you are kind of moving around, you're starting to get like sort of a fluttery little ping that suggests that it's close somewhere. But you're kind of
Okay.
not, you're sensing that there's one nearby, but you've not gotten it out of total cover yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think the ruler is appropriate on this one. It's not really designed
No.
as a battle map, and so it's not like to
Yeah.
scale really.
Right.
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 But yeah. So in any case, though, on the lower part of this room, you're getting a sense of there's one somewhere here, but it's not. That's so you're guessing that like it's got to be above. It's on the upper level of the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Is there anything in these spokes?
A lot of complicated, arcane, magical gizmos behind gates. Like there's like metal grating in place that doesn't look like it's designed to open, and there's complicated arcane stuff happening behind them. You suspect it's part of the magical protections of this place.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, so do you climb up onto the platform?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You do immediately, once you're up there, realize that, yeah, basically one of these little green triangles that's on there, it's kind of just a symbol thing on here, but your portal sense tells you that one of those is actually a portal when it's open. Right now, it is not open.
Right.
But
Okay.
as soon as any of you are up on the platform, though, you can also see this little center, this little ball right there. That is the actual cell. And as soon as you're all up there, you see there's a human woman who looks like it maybe in her early 60s is looking out at you through what looks like a thick glass window, and she's just watching you with like,
Oh,
so she hasn't said anything, but she is looking at you like, huh, what's going on here?
Yep.
So,
Okay.
skeleton crew, what would you like to do?
God.
Well.
The portal is.
Now, there's something. The way to unlock the portal has to do with an eyeball. Is there anything strange about this one's eyes?
What the prisoner?
Grixit.
Oh,
Yeah.
they are two different colors.
Okay.
They look ordinary, other than that, except for one is brown and one is green.
Can I look at the?
Heterochromatic, yeah.
Can I inspect her cell?
Sure. What? Make an investigation check. Tell me what you're
Yeah.
looking for.
I was trying to see if there's like maybe a lock or something to pick,
Okay.
unless this is a magical one.
Well, it is
Yeah.
super duper magical.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've gotten the right impression here, but they consider this a high importance prisoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
Um,
gonna-
Yeah.
Well-
Yeah. So with the 17, I think you see that there is sort of a plate where a magical key would need to be like pressed against this plate, and that's what would open it if you had such a magical key. But it is not anything so mundane as an ordinary lock with tumblers and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
You do get the impression, though, that I think with a 17, you'd also see that there is an unlocked thing that looks like it's like a slot for sliding meals in, but it's only like 3 inches tall by like a foot wide,
Hmm.
and even that closes and latches from the outside, but it's not like otherwise locked. It's it would only be locked from the inside perspective.
You guys get small.
Not
No.
that small.
Can you make
And
some?
I am um, I am at a loss because well, you know what?
We might as well. We might want to go the direct approach here.
Yeah,
Grixit, hi, we're the Skeleton Crew. There's a portal on your platform that we need to open. Can you help us?
She's listening to all of this and just starting to smile and like, can I help you? That's a good question. Do I want to help you?
um,
Well, that's the
uh,
second part of the question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Right.
Well,
Would
let's
you?
see.
Can you help us? And then, if the answer is yes, then would you help us? And what would it take to convince you? Um, Otherwise, I'll just use Portal Cracker and see if I can um,
crack it open.
crack it open myself.
How are we gonna get in there to get it?
No, the portal's out. The portal's
No,
on this platform.
I
Oh,
have
well,
I have as an action I can concentrate on a portal that I'm aware of within 5 feet of myself and make a DC 20 Intelligence Arcana check. On a successful check, you can force the portal open or closed for an hour.
wow.
That's pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah. So here's the thing. Oh, and I'm saying this to Gritz.
Mm-hmm.
The Mordron March has been captured and is on the somewhere on the other side of this portal, and we're trying to at least get some sense of normalcy back to this part of the universe. You can either decide to help us if you have a, and we'll help you get free if we've got an easy way of doing that. But at that point, your main option would probably to become to at least start coming along with us so they don't immediately capture you again.
And we're going to the Mind Flayer realm, so that may or may
Would
not be.
the tyrant spiral?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
tyrant
not the Mind
spiral.
Flayer realm. It's the realm of the
the
god of
beholders.
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 Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
beholder realm.
Well,
Correction.
so I think that when it seemed as though the help you were asking for was basically in return for good vibes, she was looking pretty skeptical. But the instant you started suggesting that part of this plan might involve her coming along, she was all immediately like has is a got a more shrewd expression on her face,
Yeah.
and she says,
Our main goal
"Well,
isn't to
it's
let you out, though.
Hmm.
well
Or
now that I know that that is a potential on the table. Guess what my price is."
getting you out.
Yeah. Hmm.
It may surprise you to learn that I don't like it in here.
Hmm.
I'd be rather surprised if you did. Um, I just have no idea who, other than the warden that we already got past to get here, would have a key for us to crack you out of here.
well, I've got an idea, but it probably won't work. It's probably the kind of thing they've got wards against.
Well,
But I can try it.
What's your idea?
also, we also
Um,
should know what. Well, they should know what stuff they can and cannot do while in there, so we can get an idea of what kind of wards are on it.
I can cast an arcane gate. And since I can see the inside of the cell, I can put a gate in there and one out here. You just step through it. Unless there's some kind of enchantment preventing that kind of thing.
She says that will work, but the instant you do it, they'll be on to you.
Right. Well, all we
So-
need to do is get through this gate here.
And open that gate to Gazette's realm and go through.
Right. So
Assuming you can help us get that gate open.
I
After all.
can. It does cost something, though, and I'm not going to pay it.
And
What's
what-
the cost?
An eye.
an eyeball.
Damn you! You would have to collect teeth, not eyes.
So it sounds like you know, then.
Well, we've got a clue. Yeah.
We had a clue. We just didn't know that that was an actual cost, not just a somewhat cryptic message.
I think those of you with high insight are recognizing that she's like the fact that you know what it is means that if one of you was willing to pay it, now you don't have to let her out, and she's kind of trying to recalculate.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold now. We've got high level clerics. You got regenerate, right?
Not memorized
Not at the
Right.
moment, but we can
today,
do
but
it.
that can be
Yeah.
that
So
can
so
be
this is
arranged.
yeah. So my abilities are not particularly ranged, so I can go with one eye for a little while. It's gonna hurt, but pain. That's just part of life.
Radius is like, you can use mine. Wouldn't be the first time I've lost them. So at this point,
All right.
we need to realize that like if we want to, if getting her out lets them onto us, can we do like a swap? Can we like put like a bag of sand in there that weighs them out?
No, that's got
No.
the
No.
fact of the spell itself is going to be what triggers.
Yes, unfortunately, yes, they will detect the creation of the gate.
Yeah. Well, you have
But
been helpful. even if-
likewise, opening that portal will do the
right,
same.
So, do you know the details of that? And if you give us that, we'll let you out and we'll open the gate. And because all we know that there's an eyeball involved.
I have a knack for portals. You may have heard.
So, I think we still need you. So, everybody ready? Here we go. And I'll cast Arcane Gate. One inside, one outside. And let's hit this thing.
Let's dance.
All right, so you're freeing the Grixit. Fantastic.
Yes.
Yes. So she steps out through the arcane gate. She is like dressed in rags and barefoot, but doesn't seem overly concerned about it. She's just kind of striding casually over to that little spot on the floor. And then she just said, did we decide who's doing the honors?
Radius over there
Said he would.
Yeah.
said he would. Yes.
In Radius, he pulls off his mask and his face is again pallid, zombie-like. He's like just fine, and he will gouge out his own eye.
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
And then she just kind of goes, that's one way to do it.
We didn't happen to have any spoons handy.
As soon as you're just holding it in your hand by that spot on the floor, it starts to ripple like water. And now you can see through it. And then
Let's go.
and then she just says, "All right, have fun. That's a terrible place you're going."
We know. We know.
We know.
So we go through.
Yeah, and
Yep.
Radius looks at her and says, "What are you going to do?"
Oh, I'll be fine.
Best of luck to you.
You don't want to come with
I,
that?
I suspect
Yeah.
she has.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Ability.
you're going to a terrible place. I suspect you'll all die.
Yep. Wish
All
us
right.
luck. And we'll dive through.
Cuspid is already through.
Yeah.
She didn't
All
know
right.
how long the portal stayed
Yeah.
open, so poof.
Yeah.
And what a perfect spot to end our session tonight.
As Radius walks through the portal holding his eye.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Aye, aye,
Does the
aye.
eye like disappear as the price, or is you just like the act of gouging it out was what was required?
Or was it just like, yeah, the
No,
eye
I
lock?
think you find on the other end of the portal you are still holding it, but it didn't. The portal didn't open until you were holding it in your hand.
Ah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Go into a place for the god of beholders to have to hold an eye. That's a little poetic.
It is very poetic.
Yeah.
Very on brand.
yeah.
Anyway,
So fantastic. Well done getting through the prison there. And yeah. And so you'll have to just hope that you've not made a terrible mistake letting a
Oh,
dangerous criminal through.
I was about to say, I'm pretty certain we did.
Well, you know,
Well, see, the thing is, we're also like causing a fair amount of chaos in our wake,
it's true.
which is
You know,
just
look,
fine.
you're here to
with
do a job.
Cuspid.
Yeah,
We're
and
trying to
you know,
save the universe.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair though, we are technically a demonic force of interplanetary and interdimensional invaders because I kind of sort of won that game.
Yes.
Well, yeah, not necessarily demonic. I mean, your right to invade those various star systems is not demonic in nature. You were just competing against devils and demons for the privilege.
That is true. And I could do it in a like McDonald's fashion. I could do it like a 5,000 cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
but we'd rather do it like a Krispy Kreme Dunkin' Donuts kind of a way.
Right, right. But we all know that that's not the Deator's
No.
style.
No.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, I don't know Deator donuts.
Well,
Um,
actually, that would probably work really well.
Deator Donuts franchises everywhere.
There it is. There it is. It's been solved.
All right. So I think though that as you drop through the portal, and we have just a little shot of the Grixit just standing over the portal, waving goodbye as you go. That is where we will leave things for tonight.
Have fun storming the castle.
Castle.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
exactly what I was thinking.
And we will be back to find out what happens next to the skeleton crew when we return in probably, I don't know, how is everybody looking about the 28th? Do we want to kind of, if people are available, I'm available, but
I'm
I'll be
available.
here.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay.
I've officially finished this semester. I am
All right.
I'm done. So I'm good for until the 13th. I am free.
okay, well, sounds like next week then when we will return for more adventure on so many levels.
So,
Many
levels.
levels.